right. Is it going to work?
I don't know.
It was a very dark opening. I don't know what happened. It was working fine a minute ago, and it just, man, it just wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I was like, no, stop it. So where's the picture in the background? There's always some kind of technical difficulties on there, but that's okay. We got it up and running. So thanks for joining us. So I'm Aaron.
Jody.
Yeah, and we're Team Tuttle Realty.
That's right.
And so far we've been doing it about 2 times a month because there hasn't been a whole lot of change. And we've covered so many topics over the last year. So if you want to know anything and everything about real estate, check out our video wall either on our Facebook page or on YouTube, and you will find a plethora of topics to get acclimated on, to get your background education in, to kind of where you're not flying blind and coming in this cold. You're going to know exactly kind of what to expect. You're going to have a lot of information at your fingertips. So it's all helpful. We did it to where everything's going to be valuable to you. In other words, we don't want to waste your time or ours. We want to make sure everything has something for
everybody.
For every sector of this business, whether you're buying a home, selling a home, looking for a lender, trying to improve your credit, which experts are the best, for pest control, for roofing. I mean, you name it, we try to cover everything. So look at the video wall for that. You can find all the videos on the topics there. And so what we've been doing here recently is kind of covering the latest in the market and in the country as far as rates are concerned, what the experts have been expecting. If the rates will come down, if the home prices will continue to go up. Right. Where are we at in 2024? 2023 was kind of a mess of a year. And will 2024 be the same? So we'll see. We just started, and there's already action out there. There's already some movement.
Oh, yeah.
So actually, why don't you talk about that movement? Let's get that started here before we introduce our guest tonight.
Yes.
Because tonight's topic will be 2024 lending products.
That's right. We have an exciting guest coming up.
So let me get over here, and here's our Market Watch update.
Okay, so this is for what area?
This is the greater metro area. So it includes
greater metro.
Includes Edmond, from Edmond all the way down to Norman, includes east toward Choctaw, and back out west toward Yukon, and even Kemps's Tuttle.
Okay, good. So new listings on market, and this is for the last 7 days. 425 new listings. 436 homes had contracts written on them. They went pending. 294 officially sold. That's actually really good numbers. Wow. People are starting to, they've been moving quite a bit, but that's increased a lot, almost double from what I remember.
Yeah, well,
a couple of weeks ago.
That just means that the metro is active.
The metro's very active.
And we're getting some movement. And that's the other thing is a lot of people try to wait, for whatever reason, they'll kind of wait
for the
spring and really after Super Bowl, and which is coming up here this Sunday. So if you've been waiting for after Super Bowl, you don't have to wait anymore because come Sunday it's here.
Right.
But yeah, so if you're on the fence, you've been trying to just wait it out, there's really no time to get into it. It's now is as good a time as any. You're not gonna get any more benefit by waiting a few more weeks. You're ready to go. You're ready to go.
That's right.
And there's actually might be a little bit better benefit of you to get in early versus late, and that's just the standard economic discipline of supply and demand.
Yes.
So a lot less supply out there, but there's still a decent amount of demand. So that means you're gonna have more eyeballs on your property because you don't have to compete with your neighbors. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses this time around.
Well, ideally, you want to get your home on the market before your neighbors do.
Yeah. So we already had a home that we put out. It went. Was it a day?
Yeah, less than 24 hours.
Yeah, it's 24 hours, and it was a done deal. So that's how quickly they can go. Believe it or not. Okay, so let's talk about our topic of the night.
Yes.
Or the day. Of the week, of the month,
week?
Whatever you want to
of
call
the
it.
year?
Because it is a yearly topic, and it's going to be on everybody's mind.
Oh, that's right.
And that is our lending products.
That's right.
All right, we brought an expert in with us. You may remember him from the past.
It's important to connect as real estate agents with a good lender.
Well, then who is this lender?
It's the one and only Jim Foster.
The one and only Jim Foster. Jim from America's Mortgage Bank.
That's right. Hi, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Hello there. I'm a little nervous. It's the first time I've ever been on camera, so forgive me if I get a little nervous. Just kidding. Hello.
No, you're fine.
Let's party.
And what's
thank you for the introduction.
I know. Well, so what happened was I had the volume on for my computer, and because I haven't had a guest in a while, my brain did a little drop, and I need my earbuds. I know. Do you think you'll get them?
What?
Yeah, it's live TV, but can you
Yeah,
get it?
you're going professional.
In the
You're like,
TV
yeah,
bag. Yeah. It's okay. We won't miss you. Me and Jim will just hang out.
Okay.
yeah.
Gosh.
So while we're going to get that, Jim, why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah,
where you're
sure.
from, how long you've been in the industry. And then that way everybody get a little more familiar with you, and then we'll dive into what you know
Yeah.
On the back end of the whole industry and what the rates are doing and what kind of products that you've seen out there and what you guys can offer.
Yeah, so my name's Jim. Thank you, Jim Foster. Nice to meet everybody. I don't know if I'm an expert per se. I've been doing this for 23 years, and I always say I'm the smartest guy in the room if I'm the only guy in the room, right? So this market's always changing. You have people out there trying to prognosticate on where rates are going and all this stuff, and I'm say that I have a great track record about where rates are going to be and where they're going to go, only because I know what this side of it looks like right now. Do I know for certain? No. And if anybody says they know for certain, tell them, they probably have some land you buy in Arizona that's going to be beachfront property at some point, right? So what we try to do is we try to gauge like weather, like Aaron, you're a weather guy. You try to gauge where the weather's going to go, what's going to happen in the future, right? So how we kind of gauge that is by the bond market, right? Right now, rates are doing really well. Inventories are going up. So we've leveled out about 6.5%. Where, guys, if you remember, at the end of summer, August, September, we were almost to 8%.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that
Now,
shocked everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody know what's happened since then? Anyone out? Care to venture a guess? Well, guess what? It's an election year.
That's right.
Okay, so the trend was going up, and of course now we have an election year, so they've got to at least kind of ease the pain, if you will. So that's kind of where all banks get their money from the same. We all go to the same trough to get the money. Right, the government, 30 Mac, Fannie Mae, right? So we're around 6.5% average conventional FHA. So then you got credit scores. There's other factors, but 6.5 is where we're at.
Okay, and we've seen it kind of bounce around in the upper 60s over the last it's 2 months. I think it's kind of been bouncing around between 6.5 and 7.
Right.
Yep, that is kind of the pool right now. There are certain things. I've got a great product I'll say about in a little bit. But there's all lenders, as I said, Bank of America, Chase, Bank of Oklahoma, our bank. It doesn't matter. We all go to the government to get the money, unless you're a hard money lender, right? So it's what do we buy those tranches at, those big bulks of the warehouse lines, 50 million, 60 million, whatever it is. And that's where the banks are able to dole out cheaper interest rates or not, depending on how big their footprint is in the market.
Okay.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Sure does.
And we do hear some terms, so we'll get into what your products are and also kind of touch base on often kind of confusing thing, because when they get into closing costs and they get into the term buy downs and they get into the term, like points to reduce your rate. Mm-hmm. So just kind of touch base on some of what that terminology means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you mentioned points a year and a half ago, so let's fast track back to 23, all the way back to 2022. You mentioned points. Back in 2022, realtors would have told you to pound rocks and they would have gone to somewhere else. But now it's a thing, right? And the question is why?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my
And
God.
This is a live TV program, and we have a little turd here named Penelope that wants to grab the squeaky toy. We have Larry who just wants to come up here, so he starts grunting. So this is a hot mess of a live show right now.
Love it.
It's all right. This is a real family, real house. We got some real problems. All right, so they're now settled. So I think we're good here.
We actually have a question.
And so we got a question from Brian. Go ahead.
Okay, so Jim, do you see it trending to below 6%? When would a good time to start looking to buy?
Well, it's always a good time to look to buy, right? Because if you're renting, what is rent? It's 100% interest rate, right? So what is your pain point, if you will? How much can you afford? So yeah, do I see them trending down? Yes. Will we be around 6? It's an election year, right? Here's my crystal ball. I don't know the future, right? No one does. However, if you look at the trends, the Feds are going to probably lower the rate again in February, sometime this month or early March, maybe.
Right.
So we could go from 6.5 down to 6.25, 6%. But if you're looking to purchase a house and you're not a gambler, I would do it now if you're happy with what the rate is, right? Because the thing is, the world could fall apart tomorrow and we'd be back at 9%. We just don't know. The market, the bond market, the geopolitics, Ukraine, Russia. I mean, just throw in all the stuff, shake it up, and come out where you are. And if you're happy with the rate, then go ahead and do it.
Right. Absolutely. I think that's great advice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. Okay, so let's get into what you can offer in this environment since, 2024, and this is all new stuff, and the banks have had to get a little fancy on what they could come up with program-wise to get people back into the market. So what do you guys have?
So 2023 was a very tumultuous time in our industry just because rates shot up. Started back in 2022. If you all remember, November 2022 through November, rates went up and everybody shell shocked. I don't want to do it. Well, oh my God, what's going on? Well, they went back to what they should have been, because if everyone remembers why the Fed rate was cut to 0. What happened? 9/11, right? George Bush cut the Fed rate to 0. We went through the refi boom, then the crash in 2008, and they've been 0. Feds have been doling out money since 2001 for free until 2021, 2020. They started kind of trying to pull all that money back in because of inflation. So there's a lot of things that go along with this. Why are they raising interest rates? Well, we've got all this free money out here and all these that we need to suck back in, because too much money in the market means valued. Now your dollar's worth a penny instead of 99 cents. So there's a whole bunch of factors, right? So when you're looking at interest rates, so to answer your question, Aaron, we came up with some great new products at our bank because 2023, lack of a better word, sucked, right? We were like, please, let's buy a house. So we came up with some great new products. We've got a great product for people that aren't mortgage ready, right? Okay. So let's say you've been self-employed for a year. What do all lenders need typically for a self-employment?
They need
2 years tax.
Yeah.
2 years tax returns, right?
Yeah.
If you're self-employed, give me your tax returns. Well, our bank came up with a product where we only need 3 months self-employment. We get them in a house, and then when they're ready to refinance out of it, once they get their 2 years tax returns, we can do it. Now, next week or a couple of weeks from now, today's the 8th, right? So the 20th of February, we're coming out with a great FHA product. What are interest rates? Earlier, we were saying 6.5?
Yeah, you about 6.5.
Right. We're gonna have an FHA product, 5.375.
Whoa!
Wow,
Oh.
that's a game changer.
I don't think I heard you. Say that again for those in the back.
We're gonna have an FHA product. It's FHA. FHA requirements, maximum loan amount $480,000. No income requirements. 120,000 household income requirements. 5.375.
Wow.
So when you guys will be the first to hear about it when we roll it out. I'll be all over Facebook and Instagram, TikTok. I'll even call my mom, tell her. So yeah.
Hey, Mom, check this out.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's a great rate. I don't know how in the world you guys are making that happen, but that's great for
I would tell you trade. I don't, because I don't want every lender out there to know what we're doing, right? Because I'm not saying it would be available to them. However, so 5.375 on an FHA loan.
Okay.
Wow.
30-year fixed. Yeah. So I'm really, really excited about that, because here's the thing. You asked her, what did our bank do to try to get more people, buying power and just get them involved, right? Well, this is one of them. The home, our home ready product, 1% down payment, 1% down payment.
Oh.
No mortgage insurance.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Right?
That's a big deal.
Yeah. We've got a 12-month bank saver program. So we've got 4 or 5 new products that we started in 2023. We've added one this year, the 5.375. My compliance officer is probably going to kick my butt tomorrow for talking about it because we're not signed up. So I'm letting everybody, we don't have it yet. Okay. We're not there yet. However, it's in the pipeline.
Okay.
Right, which is
Okay,
huge.
yeah.
So what you're trying to tell me is because of the way things have gone the last year, you guys have gotten a little fancier on getting entry points into the market, and for those that can afford it at different stages, whether they're self-employed, whether they don't have that long of a track record, maybe they've got a lower credit score. So in other words, you guys have a lot of different ways you can get somebody into a home now.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Because in the end, really, I mean, of course, we all have our jobs. We do this for money to get paid to pay the bills, right? But however, there's a difference because I really enjoy getting those people into the houses that they normally couldn't somewhere else.
Right.
Right. And call it ego or something. But hey, we did it. You couldn't do it. Right. But the thing is, in the end, we're getting somebody in the house and they're going to start building equity. Their credit's going to go up. They're going to have more buying power when they sell their house. Yeah. Because here's the thing, guys, in Oklahoma especially, there's some one-offs, Los Angeles County, Nevada, Arizona, but for particularly for Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, property values we've never had a dip. Ever had a dip. So you get in a house at $150,000, right? With the way property values are, in a year it's going to be worth $200. Right. Sell it, you got $40,000 in your pocket, right? So yeah. I really want to build people's wealth, and the best way to do that, and this is how the rich do it, you buy property. Look at Donald Trump, look at the Rothschilds, look at the Rockefellers. They all own property, and why is that? Because there's only so much ground, right?
Right.
That's right. Yeah, that's huge.
I'm going to throw a completely different side tangent to this, and it's one that people really don't necessarily think about until it's too late to think about it, and that's retirement. And where I'm going with this is because I'm 50, and I'm starting to think more about retirement. Right. How much can I invest over the next 10 to 15 years, before I check out of the working world, if I do at that point in time. And one of the things that dawned on me as we get older and we start to get into that retirement age, where maybe we can't sustain ourselves around the house anymore, and now we need to go into an assisted living center. Right. You need a chunk of change for assisted living centers. The base entry on some of these really nice ones is going to be about $100,000 a year. So where are you going to get that kind of money? Well, you got a little bit of Social Security, maybe you have a little bit of a pension, maybe you invest in your IRA or 401k, but a big chunk of that money is going to come from your home, so that you buy now, or you buy, in your 20s and 30s. The investment in that from all the equity, you can cash out and go, I got it. We got this, mama. Let's go to let's go to assisted living. So yeah. So that property or I mean, if you go back to the Dark Ages, whatever your history is in your head about the Dark Ages or England, Russia, Germany, they buy property. The lords, all the lords have property, right? Because it's always worth more than when you bought it.
That's right.
So. So I buy a house. Right. If you're renting, buy a house. Talk to a loan officer, talk to your realtor. If you don't know that you can afford one or whatever, talk to a loan officer and say, here's what you need to do, right? It doesn't have to be me, but anyone, because I'm in my mid 50s now, right? So I look at the waste of time that, I could have had rental properties or just bought a house at $100,000 and now sold it for $250, because it's called wealth management, and you can build wealth through your house for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a cog in the wheel is what it is.
Yeah, it's like a forced savings plan.
Yeah, because when you rent, you could save up money, but the problem is the word could doesn't really turn into a would,
right?
Or a will. So the home is kind of a first way to build up that equity.
That's right.
No, you know why? Because what happens is I'm paying rent $1,500. You get that phone call, Jim. Hey, you ready to go out? Let's do something. Right. Next thing you know, you're spending $400 at a bar.
That's right.
That's right.
I was going to put that on the side, but oh well.
Yeah. So if at least you own a house, at least you're saving that part.
Right.
And for your pocket, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Jim, we do get occasional clients that come in and says, look, I really do want to buy a house. We're ready to buy a house. We've got some money saved up, but our credit just isn't quite good enough. So I'm sure you've got some good tips that you can give the
Yeah.
clients and say, hey, I got some ways you can build up your credit really fast.
Well, first of all, I've asked, well, how do you know your credit's not good, right? They don't give you an answer. If they don't say a loan officer or a bank pulled their credit, tell them just let's check it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, because if people are looking at Credit Karma, and my wife, her sister was the first started Credit Karma. So though I know these in Credit Sesame and all these places that give you credit score, that's great, but they're really not gauges because the algorithms that banks use to pull credit are a little more stricter, a little more tighter, right?
Okay.
So the first thing is, how do you know you don't have good credit? We can't afford it, right? Well, how do you know? Well, Bank of Oklahoma pull it. Okay, well then I'll maybe they're wrong, but that's even closer. But if they just say Credit Karma says I got a 620, whatever, have them pull it. That would be the first thing, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and once a loan officer or somebody that knows what they're looking at, credit depth, compensating factors, everything that goes along with their credit profile, then you can sit with the bank guy and go, okay, well, listen, here's what we need to do, A, B, and C. And I've gotten people approved within 30 days of them saying I can't do it, right?
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Good job.
So you can
Yeah,
turn your
it's-
credit around pretty quick then.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, especially nowadays with everything being, internet and fast stuff, you can get your credit turned around. If it doesn't look like a wasteland, like lates on mortgages, cars, you can pretty much 6 months is a good window to get somebody turned around.
Oh, that's
Okay.
awesome. Okay,
Yeah,
well, that's good to
yeah.
know.
Good to know.
Yeah. And get out of renting. And
Oh,
move on.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Why
right,
are you
wait.
paying mortgage when you can bitch about your mortgage payment to yourself instead of bitching about how high the rent is?
Right.
Yeah,
Stop
that's
the
right.
complaining. All right. Well, hey, before we let you go here, so let's do a quick recap for those that kind of joined a little later. The top end is if you think your credit's not so good, check with the lender like Jim
Yes.
anyway, because odds are it's probably a lot better than what you think it is. And they've got different calculators and tools they can use, and then he can guide you to a quick turnaround as little as maybe even 6 months, depending on where you're starting from. And then they do have entry point loans, depending on what your circumstances are for work. So real quick, recap one of those two of the latest ones that you had in coming up.
So, okay, yeah. So we already have this in. We already have this. It's full boat. It's if you've been self-employed for less than 2 years, we can do your loan. It can be 3 months. We need 3 months self-employment and beyond to do a loan for you, right? All lenders, it doesn't matter what lender you go to, guys. It doesn't matter. They want 2 years tax returns, 2 years self-employment. So let's say somebody got self-employed in November of 2022. So they've got November, December of 2022, but then all of 23. So that only gives them a year and 2 months.
Right.
A lender's going to go, I need a full 2 years. Sorry, right? Come to us. We'll do it with 3 months self-employment. The other one is I-10 for our Hispanic friends out there. We have an I-10 loan. I-10 is you don't need a Social Security number. It's an I-10 number, right? But you don't need 20% to put down. You don't need 10% to put down. We have an I-10 that's a 3.5% loan.
Oh wow.
Wow,
Okay.
that's really good.
Yeah, and we have a 12-month bank statement program. I mean, our bank is really forward-looking. I mean, we're small, we're maneuverable, right? We've got a lot of great products.
And you're
our
local.
interest is
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, did we lose him?
Uh-oh.
Oh, I think we lost him. Oh no, we just lost your audio, Jim. So I don't know what happened there, but just at the last second.
Yeah.
You lost me?
There it is.
No,
It's
you're back now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So because last thing,
Sign language.
Yeah, last thing Jody said was you guys were local.
And and
Here's
you
my
guys are
name.
local.
Yeah, no, we are local. Our bank is we're down in Pauls Valley area is our brick and mortar, and then the mortgage division is here in Oklahoma City off of 63rd and Hefner Parkway. It's that big Christensen law firm building right there on the corner.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
how can people get in touch with you, Jim?
They can they can yeah. I was going to make a funny joke, but since I don't know what audience we have, so yeah, no, they my cell phone is great. Cell phone. I always answer this puppy. Okay, yeah, and my number is 405-534-2294.
Okay. We'll add that to our video as well
Yeah.
when we post it.
Okay,
and share
yeah,
it.
please do. Yeah.
Yep. All right.
No
What?
on
Hey,
there.
Jim,
I'm married. That's
thanks
good.
again for coming by tonight
Yeah, I appreciate it.
and
Yeah,
educating us a little bit on the interest rates and the way things are going for 2024. What kind of programs are out there?
That's right.
Yeah. Here's my thing just to cap up on the interest rates for 2024. That Brian, I think his name or asked earlier, where are they going to be?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Expect by July, August, September, they're going to start creeping back up. Because the presidential race is coming to a close. Doesn't matter who's in office now; they're just going to start raising them again. So I'd say we have about an 8-month window. Now I'm not saying they're going to go from 6.5 to 10. However, they could go from 6.5 to 7, which means your buyer just lost about $50,000 in home purchase. So now instead of a 200,000, they're looking or a 300,000, they're looking at 250,000.
That's right, because their buying power just came down.
We got down exactly right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
Okay. All right, Jim. Thanks again. Appreciate
Yeah.
you coming by.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Thank you, guys. I look forward to seeing y'all later on. Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Sounds
you
good.
bet.
See you, bud.
All right.
Bye.
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 All right. That's a good deal.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I like always getting educated, in the lending industry because there's so many moving
Yes.
parts, and there are so many, like he said, nobody has a crystal ball. There's a lot of people that gives their ideas and their
Right.
2 cents where they're going, from big firms to little guys, and we've heard numbers from all over the place. And Jim was thinking maybe it might go up a little bit because of the presidential race leading
Right.
into that over the latter part of the summer. And others like the idea of it kind of dropping a quarter by quarter by quarter.
Yes.
And then some think the Feds will cut rates, and some think maybe they'll just hold off for a while, kind of see how things go before they make to cut rates. So there's an answer for every question.
I know.
Going every which way but Sunday. So at the end of the day is if you can afford a home, if you're looking for that.
Yes, if it's in your budget.
Yep. Go ahead and make that.
And even if you don't know where your credit is or where your credit's at, talk to a lender.
Yes.
You
They'll
know?
get you squared away.
They can get you squared away.
So we did talk about this before, but Jim is one of our preferred partners here at Team
Yes.
Tuttle Realty.
Yeah.
And we do have some other preferred partners. This is how we did some of those past videos on. We've done a lot of
Yes.
interviews. So for home inspections, we had an interview with Josh on that one. We have home and auto insurance.
Yeah.
Insurance rates have gone through the roof. So we use these guys. They're awesome. 405 insurance advisors. Title company, Legacy, they are spectacular at the closing table, which is, you need that because it's a whirlwind. A lot of
So much paperwork.
a lot of paperwork to sign. Roofing, my buddy Jamie, Ferguson Roof Systems. Solar energy, if you're into solar power, you want to give that a shot. Check out Solar Energy for Solar Power of Oklahoma. A great group over there. And then for all of your HVAC needs, and some of you may have had to need some with the recent cold weather spell, right?
That's right.
And then, of course, we'll be warming up here to spring here soon, in about a month. She'll have to crank on that air conditioning here at some point, so you might want to get that thing tuned up.
That's right.
Landscaping.
Francisco does amazing work.
Man, he's a young kid, but man, he is good.
He's really good.
I love seeing just ideas and creativity at the young mind already, which means it only gets better from there.
That's right.
Lawn care services. Willis came out. They pre-treated our lawn today.
Very proactive.
Yeah. Pest control, preventive pest, security systems.
Yeah. Plumbing.
For your home, Epic Plumbing. So, and then electrical, Robert Baxter. So even hard water solutions on there too. So we try to get as many, points of circle around a home ownership that you can get, that we kind of vet and talk with and interview and figure out, the inside scoop and all that kind of stuff. You can get all that at teamtuttlerealty.com, and you can type in any address you'd like to get a property search on or start your own search and reach out to us.
Yeah, we'd love to help you.
So we can always get you in touch with Jim. If you missed the number earlier, you can text us at that number above or call us, and we'll get you in touch with him as well.
Like he said, he's always answering his phone.
In this business, you're always answering your phone.
Well, we are too in our business.
Yeah, there's no off day around here.
No.
But that's fine. That's what we do. So
That's right.
Reach out anytime via the website or phone call or text, and we'll get you steered in the right direction and answer any questions that you have.
Yeah, and Brian, if you're still listening and you want to get in touch with Jim, I can certainly hook that up and reach out to us for when time comes when you want to purchase a home.
And
love
Ian,
to help you.
And Ian, we'll send you your $20 for giving Jim the props. Yeah, Ian, didn't you see?
Ian, yeah.
Jim's the best
Jim's
man.
the man. Best loan officer in OKC.
Oh, man. All right. Hey, appreciate you, everybody stopping by, and we'll see you on the next broadcast here at Team Tuttle Realty.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.